Hi everyone, Jan Furston here from Furston House. I just wanted to share with you a couple of things today. This is what I've been working on lately. As you know, with spring just passed and summer is here with a vengeance, all the flowers have been in bloom, and I've been working a lot with pressing them and having a great time with all of that. So I wanted to show you some that I have done recently. In my last video, I had showed you some that I had done that were larger. Um, these are a few that are left. I've sold them. I've sold most of these already in the in my Etsy shop. Here's some more of them. I think I've got, yeah, these 8 left. And these frames were done by Nikki, with Musings by Nikki. And as you see, I've been having a lot of fun with the flowers, so I decided to try something a little bit different again, and that is to use Tracy Fox's specimen cards. And that's what I've done here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, normally what Tracy Fox does is use stickers or pictures and just, paste them in or whatever. But I thought, let's try it with real flowers. And so I did. And this is what I've come up with. So let me just move them aside and I'll show them to you individually. I love the different sizes because you can get large and small and tiny. And here we have the first set. And I've written on the back of these where we found them, Fort Worth, Texas. This is called Greek Mustard. And these cards, these little tags here, I made myself. I was inspired by Tracy Fox to come up with these little numbers and what have you. And so I literally just typed a bunch of numbers and things on the page. But of course, these numbers mean something to me. For instance, 1981-LF is my daughter Laura's birthday in 81. That's when she was born. 1980-FH, Furston House. That's when Nigel and I were married. Let's see, here's 2002 IEF. That's when my granddaughter was born. 1985 EF. That's when my youngest daughter was born. And so now I'm going to have to come up with some new labels that commemorate my 2 grandsons' birthdays. But I haven't done that yet, so more to follow. But anyway, I got a little sidetracked here. Oh, I see I have 2 of the Greek mustard. They're just so sweet. And again, these came from Fort Worth, Texas. We were there about a month or so ago visiting my daughter. She's just returned from Texas. I mean, from Japan. And I had a field day. That is an Eastern Daisy. Although I don't have it marked down, so I need to mark that down. So we'll put him over to the side. And then that is called a narrow leaf blue-eyed grass. So the name is about 20 times bigger than the tiny little flower. Isn't it sweet? Tiny little yellow dot in there. And then the and that came out really well. That's literally what it looks like. The color stayed well. But narrow leaf blue-eyed grass, Fort Worth, Texas. Excuse me for just a moment. There we are. Okay. And then the next group, we get progressively larger. So here's the next group. And this one. And now these are glued in. I thought about stitching them, but I thought it's a little too much. They're small enough that I decided not to. This is a dianthus. And that was here from our garden in Madison, Alabama. And these are the sweetest little things, tea roses. Oddly enough, these are coming from a cream colored tea rose bush. We bought the bush about 3 years ago now, I believe. And it was cream colored tea roses, beautiful, sweet smelling, but all cream color. And in the base of it, so far every year, there have been little tiny reddish pink buds coming in. They don't get very big, and I finally captured some for preserving this year. And I think it's so sweet. And what's really nice about these, not labels, what do you call them? botanical kits, botanical labels, whatever, is that it kind of showcases something that's so small. You can see the back, and literally what I do is just glue in the acetate on the inside, cut out the insert, just like Tracy Fox's, she has a video on how to do this, and I'll put that link below. And then instead of a sticker or a picture of a flower, I've managed to get some other flowers, real flowers in there. The one thing you have to be careful though, you have to use flowers that can get really flat. Some of them I tried just did not work because you don't have a whole lot of space here, and it has to close down. So in essence, you've got that about 1.5 inches square inch there trying to get around the flower, so you have to watch that. There's that one, and then these two are pin cushion. And I've learned something this year with a lot of the flowers that I've been doing, and I've been so pleased. Last year I was putting them in and I was leaving them in their presses for at least 2 weeks, at least, sometimes longer. And what I'm discovering is that some flowers, pin cushion's one of them, honeysuckle, I've actually managed to press honeysuckle for the first time. Normally I'd leave it in and it would just come out brown and splotchy and yucky looking. And this year I've only left them in for like 5 to 7 days, and then I open up the press and check it, and the color is still there. So I was very pleased with that. So again, some flowers, they just lose their color really fast, and the longer you leave them in the presses, the worse it's going to be. That's another one of those little tea roses, just precious. Now the cream colored tea roses are at least the size of this, and they're much thicker, and they're very difficult to press. I think all roses are difficult to press because they're packed and they're thick, and so the moisture gets in there and then they rot before they press. At least that's my experience. Okay, here's the next set. Aren't these sweet? So here we have a maple, Japanese maple. That's from our garden here. They come in red and green. And now these are, got a little something or other. These are called the split leaf, and they're very narrow. You can find them, I noticed the other day at Home Depot they had Japanese maple, but they grew much taller and the leaves were much broader. But this is the dwarf Japanese maple split leaf, and again they come in red and green. And let's see what else. This is an azalea. I think that's from this year, 521. Oh, the azaleas were beautiful this year. We had a lot of rain, and people were stopping and just commenting, praising my husband's efforts. And the azaleas were just so beautiful this year. I mean, they were packed, and all the bushes were heavy and just gorgeous. So my favorite, I think, one of my favorites definitely, Bleeding Heart. And this is from this year. I didn't mark it down, but oh yeah, there I did, 521. And these other labels, now that one's actually made onto the card, but there are some that I've used that also are Tracy Fox's, but these are the ones that I used myself or created myself. But that's a Bleeding Heart. It's more pink, and even pressing it just for a week, it'll still turn this purpley shade, but I love it. It's pretty. And this is Phlox. Yes, Phlox, and that's from our garden. It was real pretty too this year. And again, this is another one that keeps its color better if you only have it in for about a week. So I'm learning a lot. That's the thing about flowers and pressing and stuff. You just never know what you're going to get. Like a box of chocolates. But it's always so interesting. So these are the next set. And here is a Lenten Rose. This is from our garden. These come in 2 different colors. I have some cream ones and then some purpley green ones. And that's just the back of it. And there's the cream colored Lenten Rose. So that's a little label that I stuck on, and that one is Tracy Fox. And also another favorite, the fuchsia. They're so pretty. I used to confuse fuchsia and bleeding hearts all the time. I thought they were one and the same, and they are not. So now you know. And again, that's just the reverse. Now you could, if you want, use these to write on the back. I'm going to share a journal later on today, and I've used some of these in it, as well as some of the ones by the frames that were made by Nikki Adigan and Musings by Nikki. This, I haven't written it down on the card yet, but I'm going to. I discovered what this one, now, if you're, I'm assuming, I don't know if it's just the South, or if it's all over the United States or whatever. But come spring, you'll look at some fields, and like, not fields that are full of, cotton and soybeans and all that, but just, areas where they've just been let go to nature. And you'll see masses and masses of purple little flowers. Well, I didn't think that I'd be able, for some reason, I don't know why, but I didn't think I'd be able to press them. But this year I did. And it is called a henbit dead nettle. Now, I know it was like, what? Henbit, Henbit, dead nettle, just like it sounds, Deadnettle. And it is so precious, all these little bits and pieces. Another name for it is giraffe head, which I guess with all these things sticking up, that would be the giraffe's thing. But I prefer the name henbit dead nettle. And I was so pleased. Again, don't keep these in the press very long, about a week. And they've kept their nice purple color. But it's so beautiful because it's masses and masses and masses. They're just, all over the place in the spring. And so I'm excited next year. I only did like 2 or 3 pieces this year because I thought, well, I just don't think it's going to work. I don't know why I was thinking that. But next spring, you can bet that I'm going to be coming up with all kinds of cool stuff. Now these, let's see, how we have, okay. These are the last of the group. Get these up there. And I got these on the way to, in Fort Worth. And I was so pleased with how they came out. So my pride and joy, this one, is the bluebonnet, the Texas bluebonnet. If you've ever seen a picture of a field of Texas bluebonnets, it's just going to totally blow you away. It's just amazing. So beautiful. And these came into being, well, they didn't come into being, but they became popular when President Johnson was in office, and his wife, who was known as Lady Bird Johnson, and they were from Texas. She wanted to improve, or she started this campaign to improve roadsides and things like that. And so they started just planting wildflowers all over Texas, and it grew to, all the many other states. I don't know how many. But this was my all-time favorite, and it is the Texas state flower. It's a bluebonnet. Got these in Fort Worth, where my daughter now lives. And it was a little more blue. Now it's turned a bluish purple, and again, this was about a week in. And I just love it. It's so cool. So there's that one. And then primrose. Now, we get these all over Alabama as well, but I just happened to find some real pretty ones in Fort Worth. And you can see the pods up here that hadn't opened, and I thought that was really neat. And then there's some closed pod down there. So I was really pleased with that. And again, those are something else that you keep in no more than a week. And when you actually pick them, they're pale, pale pink, which is kind of odd. I wouldn't have expected them to get purple, but they are a paler, much paler pink. And then it turns this beautiful color, and that's after about a week. Get this one. Yes, here's another one from Fort Worth. Dakota Mock Vervain. Just like it sounds, Dakota, as in the state, Mock Vervain, Vervain. Beautiful wildflowers in Fort Worth. Love little purple heads. Just really neat. And this last one is another special one, Crimson Clover. Now, my husband, as soon as he saw, I looked it up, because we were headed to Fort Worth, actually, and we saw masses and masses of them, especially in Mississippi. But these were actually from Fort Worth, and there were masses and masses of them growing along the side of the highway, and just so beautiful. But didn't want to stop and get killed on the highway. But as soon as I looked it up, and it was like crimson clover, and my husband said, yeah, that's like the song, remember Crimson Clover? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I had heard the song a gazillion times, but never really thought much about it. Here in Alabama, and I think in Arkansas, where I was raised, and also where I was born, we had the cream colored clover, and then we have the purple clover. But this is crimson. Now here, it's a dark purple, but it is the most beautiful, brilliant shade of crimson. It ought to be the, dare I bring sports into it? It should be the Alabama state flower, maybe, because we have the crimson tide. But masses and masses of these beautiful crimson flower, just so pretty. And there it is. So I was tickled to get all of these. So there you have it. Now you know what I've been playing in. And I hope you're having a blessed day. Today is Memorial Day, so that's the day that we honor all of our people who are in our military forces, who were killed in the line of duty. So that's what Memorial Day is. Veterans Day is we honor all people who are in the military, period. But Memorial Day, we honor those who gave their lives for that. So for those of you who may be in England and other countries who may not know what we are celebrating today, it's a day of memorial, and to honor our fallen military heroes. So have a blessed day, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.